Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Content Live Golf. My name is Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be back again. And Steve, that was lovely little intro music there, wasn't it? You know,
that was gorgeous. Yeah,
my head around, having a nice time,
having a sleep. Yeah,
having a sleep. Yeah,
yes.
Been a long day.
Right. So we are on to show number 6 then. Over the coming weeks and months, we're going to be covering lots of subjects within junior golf. It's a podcast all about junior golf. Today, though, we're going to kind of almost revisit the first edition of the podcast, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking back at what Progress Junior Golf is all about. And basically, we're here, if you like, to help golf clubs out there try and get more juniors involved with the game, try and get them playing the game. Now obviously, I've got my own ideas. You've got your own ideas, Ian, and people out there as well would have their own ideas. But we need people to, we need to delve a little bit deeper. We need to get some ideas of the people who have been there, done it, and are continuing to do it as well. So really pleased that we've got one person on today. Someone who is up for a big nomination is the England Golf Awards, the Participation and Development Coach of the Year nominee, Aaron Cox from Blackwell Grange.
There he is. That's his nomination right there. It's official. There
Absolutely.
He is.
Yeah. So I think that's coming up in about 5 or 6 weeks when they'll have the do, and obviously we'll find out whether he wins or not. So good luck to him with that. But we're going to hear his thoughts on what he's done to promote junior golf, and tap into some of the ideas and see whether they're hopefully appropriate for other golf clubs out there and can help all golf clubs out there to try and promote the game. So that's something to look forward to.
Right, thoroughly decent guy as well, might I say, Steve.
For an Aussie.
Cox, for an Aussie, yeah.
Yes. Let's not mention the
for an Aussie. Well, for an Aussie.
Let's not mention the cricket. Right.
G'day, mate.
Okay. But first things first, though. Golf news, though. So as you can appreciate, we're obviously into March now. Weather, it's warming up. It's still a little bit wet. So there have been some competitions, not too many, as you can appreciate. Cornwall Junior Spring Meeting, though, that took place at Bude and North Cornwall. The winner, Harry Druitt from Falmouth Golf Club with a net 70. The best gross score was a level par gross 71 from Jack Kevin from West Cornwall. So well done to him. Bedfordshire Junior Golf Tour, they had an event at Pavenham Park. The winner there was a home club member, Ali Anderson. 40 points. He had 2 net eagles and 7 net birdies on his scorecard. So not bad going for him. So well done to him. Now, this is not on the golf course, but it does take place in the last few days or so. Perth and Kinross had their sports awards for last year, and the Young Sports Personality of the Year was won by golfer Blair Gowrie golfer Connor Graham. Now, last year he had a fantastic year. There he is, winning his award. Last year he won the Stephen Gallagher Gold Foundation Boys event at Fairmont St Andrews in September. Then in November he won the Junior European Open over in Spain. So had a really good there. There he is with our friend there, Nick Doherty from Sky Sports.
Oh yeah.
And as well as that, he played in the semi-finals of the Scottish Men's Amateur Championship. Now, just to give you an idea about how difficult it is to do well in that competition, only 5 juniors actually made it through to the knockout stages, and he made it through right the way through to the semi-finals. So well done. Only 16 years old, so that's one to look out for. Just a quick mention as well of some of the other golf awards which were given away on that. Team of the Year, Perth and Kinross Counties Ladies Team, they were nominated. Club of the Year, Strathmore Golf Club. They were also nominated as well. They actually did win another award, the Scottish Golf Tourism Awards. They won the best course between the 31 and 60 pounds category. Volunteer of the Year as well. Maura Lumbey from King James VI Golf Club was nominated as well there. Just to give you an idea, I mean, it's Perth and Kinross, so it's a regional award, but just to give you the kind of standard of the awards that were given out there, the Sports Personality of the Year was won by Laura Muir, the athlete who got a silver in the Olympics. And the person who didn't win was also nominated was Eve Muirhead, who won a gold in the Winter Olympics. So that's the kind of standard you're talking about there. So well done there to Connor for winning that award. Now, back on the golf course, another big event coming up in June this year. It's the Curtis Cup, which is coming up. So Great Britain and Ireland against America. The squad has been announced. So 12 players have been announced for the squad. There it is there. So as you can see, the 12 players there. Of those ones who are still juniors, if you like, Beth Coulter from Ireland, Lottie Woad and Hannah Darling from Scotland. So 3 there. Now I say they're juniors. Shall I read out what the ages are of the players who are playing, who are part of that 12? So
I'll tell you something, Steve. You should never reveal the age of a female, but go ahead and do it anyway. Be it on your head.
Of my head. Okay. Well, I won't say the names of the people then. I'll just say that. But 17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 21, 22, 22, and 22. Whoever said golf was an old man sport, rubbish. How about that for players there then?
Well, what a great, sorry, let's just show it again, because what a great day that is to show, because it is International Women's Day today as well, isn't it? So,
yeah, absolutely. So perfect.
Very apt to be showing that. And apology, I think it's a bit fuzzy, but that's from the RNA's Facebook page. So the RNA.
So we'll blame them for the fuzziness.
Blame them for that.
So just to give you an idea about how the selection works, then the top 2 players in the World Amateur Rankings on April 21st will be automatically selected, and then 5 days later, the captain Elaine Radcliffe will pick her 6 picks. So there'll be 8 players who will go through to that squad there. Also announced today, it's only today that this was announced, the old course at La Zagaleta, might you just about get that right, in Malaga in Spain. They've been announced as the host for the Ping Junior Solheim Cup team. The Junior Solheim Cup, rather. That's next year. So September the 18th and 19th next year. That will be the prelude to the actual Solheim Cup next year. Now, I had a look at players who played in the Junior Solheim Cup. Now, if I told you the 12 players who played in the actual Solheim Cup last year who beat America quite convincingly, so 12 players, have a guess how many of those have played at some stage in the Junior Solheim Cup?
Well, I'm guessing it's a big number, hence the reason you've brought it up. So I'm going to go bold on 9. 9.
This man knows his golf. 9 of the 12. So 3/4 of the team who beat America last year have played at some stage. Yeah, you've done your research. Nothing gets past you. So the likes of Georgia Hall, Celine Boutier, Melissa Reed, Charlie Hull, Leona Maguire, Anna Norquist. So some top players who've come through that and played in that event. So that kind of says everything really about the kind of standard which you're going to see next year in that kind of competition. Spanish Amateur Championship, that's took place last week. Men's Amateur Championship. So the ones I'll mention here are the juniors. Harley Smith finished 11th, Josh Hill 19th, Jack Bigham 38th. So they all made it through to the knockout stages of that competition. I think they both got knocked out. I think they all got knocked out in the second round. But full England international John Goff won the title. And he's been playing this week in the Sunningdale foursomes. And I've got a feeling someone else has been there this week and might have some news about what's going on there.
I was there today, actually. I was at Sunningdale foursomes today. And funny, you mentioned Lottie. I caught up with Lottie and her dad and her playing partner, Rachel Gawley, today. They won. They're through to tomorrow. John Goff as well. He won. Now, John Goff as well, you may remember that name, by the way, if you don't already know. I'm sure you probably already do. John Goff. He's the 2021 English amateur champion. We were there at Moortown for that, and on Sunday or Saturday, whenever it was, he won the Spanish International Amateur Championship as well, and he won today at Sunningdale too. So yes, that man is on a roll, and who knows, if he makes it through to Friday, you can watch it live. There you go. You can watch the Sunningdale foursomes semi-finals and final live this Friday with us at Live Golf, now formerly Content Live Golf, of course. So there is a link in the body of this broadcast to a YouTube channel. If you're not watching on YouTube, make sure you click it, hit subscribe. You can watch the Sunningdale Foursome semi-finals and final live. Every single shot live on our YouTube channel. So make sure you do go check it out. And I've got to say, Lottie and Rachel, they were very confident. They looked it today. They came through 6-5, I think they won. So, by a decent margin. And who knows, it could be Rachel and Lottie in that final, or just at least making it through to the semis on Friday. Who knows?
Absolutely, some quality players playing in that as well. Professionals, amateurs, juniors, as we just mentioned there as well. So well worth watching that. So same with junior then, just some competitions coming up. Robert Rock Junior Golf Tour, they've got their first competition in the UK this year at Formby Ladies Golf Club on Sunday. Over 100 juniors have put their name down for that event. Wow. US Kids South Wales Junior Tour, once again, first event on Sunday. That's at Swansea Bay. Next week, it's the South of England Youth Championships. This is for the Bernard Darwin Salva. It takes place at Rye Golf Club. March the 15th and 16th. That's played at 72 holes. They played 36 holes on both days. So fingers crossed there's some decent weather for them, because that could be a long 2 days playing that. Previous winners of that include Tyrrell Hatton in 2011. So obviously some big names to follow there. Now this is a story which has just broke today, which I think is great that this has happened. It's the fact that the Stephen Gallagher Foundation, the Paul Laurie Foundation, and the Barry Douglas Foundation, all three massive foundations up in Scotland, they've all gone together and they're organising like a mini Order of Merit to qualify for the grand final, which is going to take place at the Macri Links on September the 24th and 25th. The four events which are qualifiers: Dundonald Links, Strathmore, which we mentioned earlier, which won awards, Newmaker, and Cardrona. Those events will take place in May and June. The Fowler Series, which is obviously very close to our hearts, will be covering these events this year. Entries are now open now for the England South, the two events there. Scotland, Ireland, Midlands, and England North as well. I'm sure the Wales event as well will be open fairly soon as well. The Ireland competition, they've actually now confirmed the date for that. That's July the 4th and July the 6th at Lutcherstown Castle over on the other side of the Irish Sea. And staying in Ireland, the Irish Junior Open Tour, we mentioned in the last podcast with the news, there's a couple of events for the Darren Clark Trophy at Raw Tara and Knightsbrook. They were cancelled because of the weather. They've been rearranged. The dates for those are July the 18th and July the 19th. And just to mention as well, because the next podcast that we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks' time, on March the 23rd, we're going to be covering Irish golf. And Michael Gallagher, who's the organiser of the Irish Junior Open Tour, he will be on the podcast in a couple of weeks' time. So that's going to be really fascinating. My favourite country to play golf is Ireland. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm sure it'll be fascinating to find out what's happening on the other side of the Irish Sea as far as junior golf is concerned. That wraps up the news.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I think it might be time to bring our guests in. However, Steve, just before we do that, I just want to show you a little picture of one of the very first times I met Mr. Aaron Cox. He is quite the character. Have a look at this. That's Aaron on the right, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. What do you think of those? Look at that.
I hope that was for a special occasion, shall we say?
No.
I'm sure he'll explain more.
It's just that's what he wears.
That's just his normal outfit, isn't it? Yes.
That's his pajamas. He just forgot to get dressed that day.
Yes. So So there's no doubt he's a character. And yeah. So as we mentioned here, this is someone who's up for an award. He's up for the England Golf Awards Participation and Development Coach of the Year. So let's get him on for all his work that he's doing at Blackwell Grange up in Durham, and let's have a proper chat with him, shall we?
There he is, as if by magic.
G'day, guys.
I was expecting a more colourful outfit than the black, but there you go.
Sorry, well, I've just been on the range for the last 5 hours teaching and then doing all my junior lessons. So this is the warm clothes for me tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll let you off then. If you've been working with juniors, we'll let you off. I'm sure. How would they have reacted if you'd have been wearing those clothes, though?
Well, most of the kids have all seen me in those kind of clothes because when I first started, I had some very loud outfits that I used to wear here at the golf club. So the kids know I'm pretty loud out there with that. But that photo that Ian had, that obviously he came and spoke to me, that was at Cleckheaton, and I shouted out to Ian about I'm going to raise some money for the NHS, and if I can get to a certain amount. This is obviously during the COVID time. So I said, if I can get to £1,000, raise money for the NHS, I'll wear this outfit. And I didn't quite get to the 1,000, but I was still a man of my word. So I lobbed up in that outfit and played that whole event
You did a great job there, Aaron, and that was actually funny talking about the NHS. That was the very first event back. In fact, it was the very first professional golf tour back in the world after that global lockdown. That event, we obviously had Aaron playing. We had Jamie Donaldson, we had Carly Booth, we had Amy Bolden. They all played in it, didn't they? It was a huge event. It really was. Megan McLaren played in it. They all played in it. It was a massive event. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of news and media surrounding that event from all around Leeds area. So it was well broadcasted. To come out of that tough first lockdown, I think it was well needed to have something. Because I played with Brogan Townend and a very young girl called Abigail Taylor, who's now on her way to potentially being a US college player. But that she was only 14 when I played with her. So I think that was really needed, that kind of event to start off with.
Okay, well, obviously, perfect introduction there in the sense you're talking about the work that you've been doing with junior golfers, playing with junior golfers, things like that. So let's talk about what you've been doing at Blackwell Grange then. So I'll just give you a bit of a background of what Progress Junior Golf is about, in the sense of what I try and do is a look at a golf club and we say, right, there are 11 points which I think are important within a golf club to find out how they can promote the game and get more juniors in. And what I'd like you to do is touch upon some of these subjects and give indications and give ideas about what you've done and how you've tried to promote the game by looking at these particular parts. So if I just read them off, so course and practice facilities, clubhouse facilities, membership packages, coaching, organising a junior team, a junior open, club competitions, junior club competitions outside the club, the social side, trying to promote that within juniors, the right staff to help the juniors, and also, of course, just promoting the game, not just within the club and within the area, but also within schools as well. So we'll start with that last point then. So how have you gone about trying to promote the game and trying to get more juniors into your golf club?
Basically, first off, what I did was I really wanted to try and get engagement from the Darlington and direct area around Darlington. Obviously, I'm competing with 2 or 3 other golf courses, but I wanted to go out myself personally. So I actually personally drove to all the 14, 15 schools that are in the Darlington area and dropped off a flyer. And I'm a very big person in the ways of obviously in the media, in the business world, loss leader. I gave out 4 weeks free coaching. And so on these posters and flyers, I went and hand delivered to schools to then send out to the parents of all the kids, was 1 class per week for 4 weeks, free golf. So it was then back to me to make them feel welcome, happy, excited, fun, parents engaged, parents being safe and feeling, oh, this is okay. This is a nice place. I feel all right here. There's, not problems. And then it was up to me to make sure that I worked hard during those 4 weeks to keep and retain those kids. So when I first joined Blackwell back in end of January 2019, there was 2 kids that were members and then 6 kids getting coached, so 8 kids. I then went and did this process by reaching out to 15, 16, 17 odd schools, high schools, primary schools, kindergartens, to really get kids involved in golf again and say, hey, Blackwell's on the map. Blackwell's here. We have great facilities. And as you did say, Steve, we'll go through a few of those points. But I wanted to get them learning about golf, get them into golf, to a sport that obviously I love. So it kind of fell on me to start that. So come February, March, I started getting those flyers out to all the schools. I sent the flyer out and I had a really good response from a good amount of primary schools directly straight away. And they sent them out to schools. And I was out to all the parents via social media, via emails. And that was on the Monday morning. By the time 12 midday came, I'd filled the class of 15 that I was hoping to fill. So that was filled in 3 hours. By the time the end of the day came, by 5 o'clock, I'd filled the second class. And then by the time Wednesday came, I'd filled the third class. So 45 kids had come in a matter of 3 days. And I was like, well, what's everyone been doing? Like, what's everyone missed? That for me, that's been here 5 minutes, I've just gone out and went, right, look, all right, it's free. but 45 kids in 3 days, right? Okay, now my job is to now retain them over those 4 weeks. So over those 4 weeks, I did the 4 classes. Out of those 45, I had 38 kids continue to pay.
Wow.
Parents started paying a monthly block.
38 out of 45. That's a huge number.
Let me go back to the question you asked yourself. What are other clubs doing? Because you must have been, I don't know, were you surprised, shocked, angry, annoyed? The fact that it almost seems so easy. The fact that
all of the above, really. Look, not angry, but I was like, well, if I've just done this, why haven't other pros done? But I think at the same time, it's hard to get your point across without being direct. Obviously, I'm Aussie, so I always say things what I say. But it's putting the ego aside and putting the money aside. It's not about promoting junior golf and getting juniors playing golf. It's not always about how much is going to go into my back pocket. And I've lost count over the last three and a bit years now of how many free golf lessons I've given to kids. Just because it's not about my back pocket. It's about giving them something that they can cherish, they can run with, they can get excited about. And obviously, I give the kids that excitement, but obviously I have fun with them. So once I got them here, it was then my job to go, right, okay, how do I retain them? How do I keep them interested? But then how do I convince mum and dad that I'm worth that money per month? How do I convince them? So I created a product, and straight away, obviously Golf Foundation obviously have one. I went and created my own. So I created a 7-level book, which obviously I don't know if you can't see much, but they're all an Australian animal. So koala, kangaroo, swans.
There aren't too many of these over here.
So so I created a 7-level, but in that 7-level book was more about golf behavior, fitness, skills, skill sets, so competitions for them to do themselves. And then when it came to school holidays, I actually wrote, you have to do this over the holidays. You have to complete this, and this, these 3 tasks, and go away and do it. Come back, you've got to show mum and dad you've done it, and then what they tick it off. So you get the parents involved, and then they come back, they show me, I tick it off, get to the end of the first level, I give them a certificate and go, congratulations, you've finished level 1. Here's your certificate. Go on to level 2 now. So simple things like that, which gave them a product to then believe in, not only the kids, but the parents. Then all of a sudden your retention rate goes that way and not that way.
So Aaron, what support then did you get from Blackwell Grange? Because you obviously went in, it was a bit of a blank canvas. Was it a case of the club was saying, here, Aaron, here's our town, go for it. Do whatever the hell you want, go for it. We'll back you. You've got the facilities, do whatever you need. The club obviously supported you in giving away those free lessons time at the club. Do you think other clubs might struggle with that? I mean, it's a mentality thing, isn't it? Not everybody has the mentality to think, I'm going to work for a month for free. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I first, it kind of fell on me. The junior section kind of fell on me. It wasn't actually asked of me. My boss, Peter Rain, one of the best bosses I've worked for as a head pro. And obviously, I've worked for a few golf clubs in my time back home in Australia and here. But Peter, obviously, I do hours in the shop per week. But then outside of that, I'm self-employed. So I'm employed by Peter. Then I have my self-employed teaching business. So the club, obviously, I rightfully so, Ian, I asked the club, I said, well, look, I want to do this, this, and this. Can I do it? And they went, yeah, go for it. Like, try and do the best you can, because they had no real junior section for coming up, 7, 8 odd years. There were really no juniors around the golf club. So it kind of fell on me. So I thought, well, they've kind of given me a blank canvas. They're not really, I'm not really on a leash. So I had pretty much free reign. I worked with Peter to give me ideas. Obviously, Peter is local. He has been here all of his life. So I asked him a lot of questions of who, what, when, where, how, and he gave me a lot of information. Hence the reason why that support was very integral to how I've then become with a big academy. So Peter was a big backbone of that, giving me that information. But then once he gave me that information, I deciphered it and then ran with it. The club gave me full access to the driving range. They They've built, over the time I've been here, they've built a massive short game facility, their putting green. So they gave me that freedom to be able to do it. But then at the end of the day, Ian, I still had to do it. So no one else really, other than that, no one else helps me in that respect, if you can understand. I do all the junior classes, I do all the advertising, I do all the promotion, I do all the competitions and the ways of the kids course. I went out and asked the club, I want this fairway. It was just a spare fairway between the 18th and the 10th, 270 yards long, about 40 yards wide. I said it was just like a members practice little area. I said, look, I want this and they went, well, what do you want it for? I went, I want to build a 6-hole junior golf course. So I went out there with my white paint, and I, lasered 6 holes, green, circled them with white paint. I said to the greenkeepers, right, can you guys just start cutting it? And they started cutting it. And then I built a 8-round order of merit competitions tournament series.
Is that a barrier, though, do you think? Is that a barrier for other clubs who don't quite get it or just think, hang on, we've got these facilities, nobody uses them?
Just give a background for people. We all know there are different types of golf clubs. There are member golf clubs, there are hotel golf clubs. Just give us an idea about what type of golf club that you went into and how, if there are people watching this now who might relate to that and go, well, we were in exactly the same position. We've got no juniors at our club, but we would like them there. So
so Blackwell
Grange, your advice?
Yeah, so Blackwell Grange Golf Club, right now we're a 750 member kind of pretty private golf club. We do have green fee players, but we don't honestly have much time. The members, we have a very high member base. We have a high ladies section, a high senior section, and a big number of members overall, 750 in total. So as you can imagine, through winter, when the sun goes down at 4, there's not much room. So we're pretty much a fully members golf club. So for me, I had to go outside the walls. Before I arrived, like a lot of golf clubs, they had, if a family member, either a parent or a grandparent, was a member, the junior would be able to join for free. Like a lot of golf clubs. Yeah. Now, Blackwell Grange, because of what I've done over the last few years, that's now gone. Because of what I've created now with building a 6-hole kids course, I've created an avenue for 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids to play golf, learn golf, play competition golf, learn about handicaps, learn about scoring, pace of play, etiquette, and learn how to play golf in under stressful competitions, but then play golf in their own time, not worrying about dress code, because it's their own little golf course. But so that's got a membership now on it. So now we have the kids courses now actually has a membership, a yearly membership. So they're an integral part of the golf club. Then once they move from the kids course and I go, right, you guys, let's graduate you, let's retire from the kids course and let's get you moving on to the main course. Then they move up to because they're already a member, they just move up to the next level of junior membership. And then junior membership allows them to get a England Golf Handicap, affiliation fees are all paid. Then they're already a member's card. They've got a member's card. They can use it in the clubhouse. The parents can use it. Obviously, then they can bring guests. So they're from a very 5 or 6 years of age. I've now created an integral part of those kids being members of the golf club for a whole 13 years of juniors as they play. So I can definitely see other golf clubs that would struggle with space, time. If a golf pro is obviously running his own shop, he doesn't have much staff, doesn't have much time outside of that time. So I totally respect that can be very difficult. Obviously, I'm just lucky in the ways of I've been able to find my feet and have a very big playing field to play with and not have much leash around my neck. I can go as far as I want to go to a certain point. I do get pulled back a few times by the secretary. And
I don't believe that.
But yeah, that's to answer your question, Steve. So members golf club, pretty private, but it's being proactive, not reactive.
And how much reaction? So what kind of reaction are you getting from the members then? Well, how has that changed then? So initially, was there a little bit of apprehension of the fact that, whoa, hold on a second here,
Yep.
this is the members club. We don't want juniors kind of like, I don't know, how do I word this, ruining our environment, things like that. Has that changed because they realised actually this works?
Yes. At the very start there was that little bit of unrest, and obviously, myself, my boss Peter, the secretary, we did hear about it, unfortunately. But positively, yes, it has dramatically changed. The outlook in a lot of the members has now, it's very, very often, most days, I'll get members coming in saying, geez, Aaron, you're doing some great stuff with those juniors. I was like, they're always out in the kids course playing, or they're on the range, or they're on the putting green practicing, which is right in front of the clubhouse, and the members are inside the clubhouse. So now there's a big shift to, let's get behind these kids. Let's actually, get them and keep them here and get them involved. And now, and I'm actually kicking a lot of goals in the ways of I'm getting rid of a lot of barriers with segregation of juniors now, as they're now integral members of the golf club. Yet they are paying 10 times less than your full member, but they are now becoming more of an integral part of the membership because of they're out here, school holidays, they're out here every day. There's so many of them. I've got now 40 kids that are members of the Academy course, which are obviously that's ages 5 to about 8. I've then got close to 50 kids that are actually full junior members on the main course. So that takes me nearly 100 kids regularly playing golf. And then I have 90 kids per week in my 10 classes per week on the range, on the short game area, on the putting green.
Now, I'm going to put words into your mouth. This is not something I believe in at all. But is there some jealousy within the membership in the sense of, they're almost taking, you mentioned their membership fee is so much less kind of thing. And this is one thing which I tried to tell golf clubs is the fact that don't look at it now, look at it in 10 years time. They're your members in 10 years time. If they've been here 8, 9, 10 years, they won't leave. They'll be, and even if they do leave, they'll always remember their time there in section and come back, kind of thing. Is that something that you've had to kind of like almost, I don't know, insisting that the people listen to you when you say that to them, or they started to listen to that?
They are starting to listen to it, but I've been, again, it's having the kids course. I think that's probably been the biggest difference, is because I'm not getting the young kids on the golf course, on the main course, which is then worrying the members about speed of play, divots, pitch marks, bunkers not being raked. So with me having the young 5 to 8-year-olds all playing on my little kid, their own golf course, technically, there's less of that bite back, if you know what I mean. So then I create their own comps on their own course. But by the time they are ready to then move in and join up with the older members, they know how to score. They have a handicap. They've played junior comps. They know how to score Stableford. They know what speed of play is. They know how to look after a golf course. They know how to fix a pitch mark, fix a divot, rake a bunker.
Okay, let's talk about the course of the practice facilities then, which you developed at Blackwell Grange then. So just there's a golf club listening to this and they're going, actually, that's an idea. We could do that at our golf club then. Realistically, how long would that take to set up? How much would that cost? How much time would the pro have to do to actually implement that? Just give us an idea about what the process and how long it took you to go through that.
So when I first arrived in January, end of January 2019, the club were actually moving their development plan. They had they've got an 8-year development plan over the next all up to 2029 of redeveloping the golf course, redoing bunkers, and doing aspects around the golf club. So they had a future plan in place, and that when I arrived, they were actually starting that plan. When it got to end of 2019, just before the pandemic hit, the club spent a lot of money on actually creating a state-of-the-art short game facility, a big green, bunkers, mounds, and from corner to corner is nearly about 80 yards. So they did that. Obviously, that was part of their development plan. When I stepped in and went, I want that fairway, the course for me, because obviously I haven't really done anything. All I've done is cut the grass back and then just cut a fairway, cut a green, cooch greens. But it's something for the kids to play on. So that took me, with the greenkeepers, probably 3-4 months to develop over the summer. I officially opened the course in September of 2019. In that first year I was here. And now it's been open 2.5 years. But I did a massive junior day, junior open day. So I put out a massive social media emails to all the schools saying, if you want to come down, I got the mayor involved. I had the mayor of Darlington come and officially, I put up 2 flags and put a tape between 2 flags, snuck them into the ground, and I got some big scissors, and I said, mate, open the scissors right on the first tee. And I had the Northern Echo there, but I literally had about 160 odd parents and kids there just watching the mayor hit the first shot. And then I said, right, kids, off you go. And then you could just see them running down the 6 holes, finding a tee to tee off, golf balls flying everywhere. No one was worried about anything. It was just a fun afternoon of golf. We had the barbecue going. I had members help me with the barbecue and some soft drinks going. And some.
I think we all want to know, Aaron. I think we all want to know, was the mayor any good? Did he hit it straight?
I did give him a card. I said to him he could improve his swing a little bit.
He's been a client now for the last 2.5 years.
I wish.
So how much did that? So how much did that cost you then to actually set that all up to do the course? Was it? I mean, you mentioned the fact that you were giving out free coaching, so obviously you weren't making any money to pay for that. So who paid for that? Did the club give you a grant? Did you go to the Golf Foundation? How did you?
Well, because it was just a spare fairway on the land of the golf club. I just asked if the club could help me out. So I got the secretary. The secretary just said, yeah, okay, go for it. We'll help you out. You go mark it up, and we'll just start cutting it. So then I got really on board with the head greenkeeper, and I said, look, is there any chance you can just funnel cutting the 6 fairways and 6 greens once a week into your schedule when you are working on the main golf course? And he went, yeah, no problem. So to me personally, into the club, setting up that, it honestly hasn't actually cost us anything, really, to be brutally honest.
No, and also, I mean, let's say that the green and the fairway that you might have settled there, it doesn't have to be absolutely pristine, perfect, 11 on the stimp meter or anything silly like that. It just has to look like a green. That's it. As long as they can hit a golf ball and yeah.
But that's where then my coaching comes into it, because then, moving into that, then that's where you move into the coaching aspect, working in with the lost leader, giving the kids 4 weeks, but creating a product, but getting the parents and the kids believing in that product. And that's what I think golf pros. And look, I've tried to reach out to a few golf pros. I mean, I've seen many times on Facebook over the last 3 years that something's come up about junior golf, and is your golf club struggling with juniors? And I see so many of these golf clubs post comments saying, yes, we don't have many. So I did this once, and I've done this once only, and I reached out to about 3 golf clubs who actually posted on this Facebook post that was saying, are you struggling with juniors? So I reached out, and at this point I had over 100 kids per week coming for lessons. And I reached out to, I rang the secretary and the pro. And I said, look, I saw this post, your club, whether it was you or someone in the golf club, had posted saying, they struggle with juniors, we need help or something like that. So I rang them and said, hey, look, I've got a model, I've got a product that does work. I've retained juniors. I've increased my juniors. Do you want help? Do you want some help? I'm more than happy just to help you, come over, speak to you, sit down with the club pro, the secretary, whoever, the captain, and just give you some information. In other words, give you free information about what I've done to give you some kind of model to then try and build something for yourselves. And I simply got a brick wall.
And how frustrating was that?
It was very, because here I was wanting to give free advice, free help, a model of my own that I created. I was willing to actually give these 2 or 3 golf clubs my model for nothing, without charging like a consultancy fee or anything, to go have a crack at building a junior section. And I got was, no, we're not really interested. We don't really need your help. We're okay. It's like, right.
And,
okay,
and are they
Time,
without going into too many details, are they? Do you see that they're in the same position they are 3 years ago when you first made that offer?
To be brutally honest, I don't see anything from those couple of clubs I contact on social media at all. Really, I don't really see much. So I'm guessing that they probably would be still in the same position that they were 2 or 3 years ago. Let's hope
they're watching this, and hopefully they'll get the idea of the fact that it wasn't a false,
no.
offer. It was a genuine offer in the sense that you are here to help, in the sense of anyone who's watching this now is getting your advice now for free.
And look, and I still say today, I mean, even today, I'm still sometimes reaching out to a few pros, going, hey, look, do you need a little bit of, a bit of a hand? Like, you're more than happy to help out. Do you need some information? Do you want, how I've done it and how I've actually created my own academy, and quite a fruitful one for myself. I mean, I charge, I don't need to spell it out, but, I charge £28 a month for 4 classes a month. And obviously you break that down and you times that by how many kids I've got, you can actually make something of it. But up here in the north, that's what I do. Okay, so
let's delve a little bit into the coaching side of it then, because
Sure.
obviously you're dealing with what, from age, let's say 5, 6, right the way up to 17-year-olds.
I've actually got one junior right now that he wants to do start his PJ training next September.
Yeah. Wow. So how do you? Because that's obviously we've done this on the podcast previously, myself and Ian, and talking to different pros and that. It's a very different thing dealing with a 5-year-old to dealing with a 17-year-old, to dealing with a 14-year-old, to dealing with a boy, to dealing with a girl, to dealing with a group. So how do you work your coaching sessions around that then?
One big word: adaptation.
Okay.
Right. So that's what I don't live off that word, but it's a very big word in my mind, because I have to adapt from a 5-year-old to a 17-year-old, obviously to then a 50-year-old, even with my adult clients. But the philosophy and my ideals of how I coach are all very, very similar. The same philosophies that I teach a 5-year-old is still, there's some aspects of that philosophy and that ideal is going to be exactly the same for a 17-year-old. But the good thing, what the difference is, it's the terms and the language that you are talking to either a 5 or 17-year-old. With a 5-year-old, you're keeping it very simple. Now, I'm happy to give out these little secrets. I don't mind me. It's all very basic for the golf pros. But with a 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, I work on 4 main words: GASP, GASP. Now, Steve, obviously I know that Ian's worked with me a little bit before, so he might know the words, but he might have forgotten them. But Steve, as you've been a golfer, would you? 4 main fundamentals.
You say that in the past tense as if I'm not a golfer anymore.
It may be a senior play, Steve.
But grip, aim, stance, and posture.
Yeah.
Now, that basic language to a 5 or 6-year-old, they get it. They understand that stuff. That's easy, right? So, but then if I move to my 17-year-old and adults, those 4 fundamentals are still very relevant in a golf swing, whether you're 5 or you're 50. Yeah. So it's how you adapt to the teaching of how they learn as well. If they're more, you tell them and they'll understand, I have to maybe then show them and they'll understand, or I actually have to, and a lot of parents do, obviously, which at the start when I did it, I was like, oh, I wonder how the parents are going to react to it. But I get in there and actually hold them and I go, right, you need to get to here, you need to get to there, you need to feel this. And I'm actually standing there with them and moving their bodies and manipulating their arms and their body to actually feel that position. And when I started doing that, the parents were like, oh, that's great. I've never seen a golf pro actually handle my kid to try and get them in the right position. Because you got to be worried about, some kids don't like you touching them. Some parents don't like people touching your kids. And obviously with today's today's world that's, silly sometimes. We have to be careful about where we stand, what we say, where our arms, our hands are. But obviously, all my classes, the parents are always there watching. But they love it because I'm getting them into the position they have to feel. So I'm more of a hands-on kind of golf pro, where I want the kids, whether they're 5 or 17, to feel that position, feel that turn through the core or the shoulder turn, and make them actually, I get their shoulders and go, whack, right, and get them to turn. But then they feel it and they go, oh, yeah, I felt that. But that's the way you have to adapt from different learning aspects of those kids, whether they're kids, young kids, very small kids, bigger kids. So I adapt. That's how I really, my adaptation to the kid and the student, but also the language of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it and how it's coming across.
So I just had a flashback of when I was a kid, where I remember being stood walking behind someone as they swung the club back and it whacked them, and I've still got the scar on my head of where it on my head, and it's you standing there touching as they're swinging the golf club back, and I'm thinking, don't do that.
Been there. I've lost count of how many times I've been hit in the head by a golf club on the way back and on the way through after impact.
Oh.
So I know how you feel, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, right. So one of the things we did a podcast on parenting and how to deal with parenting and things like that within. So we won't touch on that too much. But obviously, when you are dealing with children, how much is it just with the child, or how much do you have to also incorporate the family as well, and making sure that they're on board with what you are doing?
Look, I always get them. Good point. Good question. I always get them involved. I always have them involved. So a lot of the parents, whether it's winter or summer, because of how I've created things now, I reckon I have about 95% of parents actually there every class. So they see what I do, how I talk to the kids, and they love when I discipline them. They absolutely love it. Like the amount of times I've told off a kid, and they just, sorry, Aaron, sorry. And then they do the right thing straight away. And the parents look at me going, how the hell did you do that? Like, but no, it is important for me,
actually,
Steve.
just on that subject, because there is a way of doing that, isn't there? There's a way of doing it whereby you mentioned a little earlier about learning the etiquette and things like that on the golf course. There's a way of teaching kids whereby it doesn't feel as if you're preaching to them. And we all know there's plenty of members out there, older members out there, who see a person doesn't repair a pitch mark or whatever, and the first thing they'll do is go over there and they'll tell the kid off, and they'll walk off that golf club, and they'll be wary of that golf club.
Yep.
So how do you cope with something like that then?
Well, what I do is I really try and get them to talk to me about why they did that or why they didn't do that. What was on their mind that made them think they didn't do it, or they didn't have to do it, or why they don't have to, why they didn't want to do it. So I get them to give me information first, which then that information then allows me to work out which path I'm going to then react to, or how I'm going to react back. If they say, well, I don't need to do that stuff, then you go, right, let me tell you something, right? But if they say, oh, look, sorry, I didn't mean to, I just forgot. And you go, okay, right. In future, you have to make sure that you do take this into account. You have to think about this. Yes, it's a lot on your plate, but when you're here now, you have to be mindful of other people. You have to be mindful of your other students, your other peers, your other mates, but members, other parents. So the one good thing that I have here with the kids, obviously the way I come across, obviously I'm Aussie, so it comes across very differently, but the kids listen to every word. I have a lot of kids that just listen. They're just staring at you like they just locked eyes on you. So I do a demo at the start of every class, about 8 minutes. But I go through what I want them to achieve in the class. Then I go, right, off you go. And then they'll run down to each other's bay and they'll get ready and they'll get the balls out and they get the clubs out. But because I've got them into a process, they understand they have to go through 2 or 3 practice swings. They have to go through gasp. They have to go through the TTR, the triangle, the takeaway, and the rotation. They have to think about all those letters that I've now got into their heads. GASP, TTR. Like every week it's those same 7 letters every week, and get them repeating. I go, what does T mean? And they go, triangle. What's the other T mean? Oh, takeaway. That's it. Right. Well done. Awesome. Good. So it's repeating the process that they get into, because then when they do get on the golf course, Steve, you're not having that problem of an older member going over and berating a kid for not raking a bunker. You've then got them into a process of they understand that this is the process of A to B to C to D to E when they play golf.
I suppose so, Aaron, having the parents there as well, purely from a business point of view, because a lot of clubs will look at it and think, yeah, sounds great, but we've got to monetize this as well. You're monetizing it. How does the club monetize it? Having parents there, they're secondary income. They're going to spend, aren't they? I often say this. This is what I said to you about your pro-am. If you just get people on site, just get them in the door and then deal with it there and then. And of course, it's a lead generation exercise if they're there. What sort of percentage of the kids that you've got are kids of members, or just it's only the kids who are members and not the parents?
To be brutally honest,
can I just add to that question as well? So a very similar point. And how many of those are from a non-golfing background completely?
So percentage of kids that have members as parents, I would say would probably be a very low percentage now.
Really? Okay.
I'd probably say about 10, not even 10, maybe 10, 15%, not even that.
Wow. You thought that'd be higher, wouldn't you? I would have thought it'd be like 70, 80% or something. But
no, so I'd probably say maybe like 15% would be that the fact the parents are actually members here. A lot of, I would then say a good chunk that would be kids that have parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles that have played golf over many, many decades, probably members of other golf clubs, but are still in this, like in the Darlington area, that live here, but have then family members that do play golf. And then the last point was, sorry, Steve, was that last point, the percentage of no background. So that's right.
That's it.
No background. I'd probably say that's probably the biggest part, to be brutally honest.
Wow.
And that's the exciting part. You're getting people into the sport who not just the juniors as well, but the parents as well who may take up the sport. I mean, we're going to have Kai Williams, who's an England junior golf ambassador, and I know that his mum knew nothing about golf, and she started taking up a little bit now, which is lovely to hear. The fact that it's normally it comes the other way around. Parent teaches the kid how to play golf, but it was actually the other way around in that family.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've found that a lot of, I mean, out of, as you mentioned before about like parents and secondary incomes and all that stuff in, I've probably got now probably 10, 15, maybe 20 parents now on my books as a student.
Yeah. What an opportunity, isn't it? What an opportunity.
But then obviously then you look at from an income point of view, then you're probably like it's thinking then, and that's why I think it's important to keep the parents involved, because now I've got parents that are playing golf. What are they going to want in when they start playing and they go, oh, I like this? What are they going to do? What are they going to want? They're going to come into the pro shop and go, can you get me a set of golf clubs? And I'll go, hey, boss, Peter, can you look after this for me? So he's just going.
It's a great thing, Aaron. It's a great thing. My 6-year-old plays football every Saturday morning, and it's on a field, and it's bloody cold. And there's loads of other kids playing, and there's probably 60 kids in total. 60 kids, a minimum 60 parents, probably more like 100 parents. Yeah. All a coffee van's got to do is rock up, make a killing.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't.
Oh, yeah. I know.
But you know what I mean?
It's that kind of common sense that you'd think, well, that's obvious, isn't it? But no, sometimes, and that's where I think, why I think it's upsetting that you have many golf pros and golf clubs that are struggling with juniors, because sometimes it's an ego thing. I don't know, because I've only been in England 4 years, so I'm still learning, obviously, the culture. But because I'm so forward, Aussies, obviously, as you guys probably know, we're very forward. We come across sometimes abrupt, maybe a little bit rude, overconfident. But sometimes it does actually come from a good place. Whereas what I'm trying to do, obviously, it's working. But I would love to help other golf clubs or golf pros that are genuinely struggling or just trying to increase junior numbers at classes or junior memberships, or what can you do differently? It's like, I mean, it's quite funny because obviously every club has their presentation nights. And obviously last year was everyone was a little bit still unawkward about the COVID thing. Yeah, the seniors had theirs, the ladies had theirs, the men had theirs. And it was probably no more than, say, 50, 60 people that rocked up to these presentations. I know I went to the men's one. There was 54 members that went to this presentation night. I did a junior presentation night a matter of like 2 weeks after, end of November, 2 weeks after the men's, ladies and seniors. I had 130 kids and parents in the clubhouse, a full buffet. They all paid £10 for parents and £5 for kids for entry for a buffet food for an hour and a half. Just pick up whatever you want for food, as much. I'll just keep bringing the kitchen, keep on bringing food out. All kids' food, plus also a little bit of food for the parents. And at 130. Now, you talk about then secondary income. What do you think the bar took that night?
Exactly.
Now, I don't see that. The club sees that. So the club saw all the entry money. Then the club saw all the bar takings. For me, putting on a night to say well done to the juniors for playing a great season. Like, I don't know. It's just simple stuff like that.
Common sense is very rarely seen in golf, unfortunately. Now, Ian did warn me the fact that this podcast this evening might will be the first time that we ever go up to the 2 hour mark. So I'm wary of the fact that we're running out of time here.
No, I won't do that. Ian.
So just very
bus again.
I might have said you could talk a bit, Aaron. I might have said that.
I can talk about
So just briefly then. So if it is, I mean, we could talk about junior competitions within the club and things like that. But just briefly then, if there are golf clubs watching this now, and what would be your advice then to if they're in the same situation, they're struggling with juniors and they go, what can we do about this? What would be your, first 4 things that they would do? What would
Well, first thing first would be to hop on the computer, create a flyer, do a loss leader. Yes, it's not money, but you got to think long term. And as we all say, a lot of these kids aren't going to play golf forever. They're going to go away, go to school, go to college, meet boys, meet girls, and find alcohol when they're 18, potentially, start driving. But they're going to come back when they've got their own kids, and they're going to go, you know what? I'm going to go back, pick the golf clubs up because, you know what? I'm still in the air. I'm going to go back to Blackwell. That's where I did my junior golf. So number 1 would be flyers, bang, schools. Go out and meet the schools. Don't just sit on the computer and hop on the phone. Get in their face. I went to many schools over and over and over again because they wouldn't send the information out. So I just kept on lobbing up to their reception and going, hi, it's Aaron again. Here's another flyer. Hi, Aaron again from Blackwell Grange. Would love to get some information out to your school regarding some junior golf. It's free, by the way. I just bombarded them. I just kept on going back and back and back. So that's number 1. Go to every primary school in the area. Say hello. Meet them. Put a face to a name, to a voice, and they see a lot more because they're seeing how you speak. Because sometimes seeing a facial expression is more than just hopping on the phone, because someone can talk about junior golf, but then that person may not be as enthralled and excited about junior golf as what they say they are. So seeing them in person can automatically see, hey, this guy, this person, this golf pro, woman or guy, they're excited about junior. Oh, well, yeah, okay, this sounds pretty cool. Like, it got me going now. I'm just working reception. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be then get your golf club on board to get you help in the ways of having that email stream to the membership, because again, your membership is going to have direct access to what? Oh, family members, kids that have kids of their own, or cousins. Oh, the cousins are only about 9 or 10. They might like this. They're in the area. So then that membership does the work for you. All those members of that golf club can then go out to their own posses and their own families and their own little areas and go, hey, check our golf club out. We've got this golf pro that's doing this great junior thing. Hey, it's free, 4 weeks free golf. Do you want to go try it? Do you want to bring little Johnny along? So that's number 2. Number 3 is is create a product that you believe in, but B, you can then sell. It's getting the product that people can take in and take it in for themselves. Get them excited about that product. So then they take it on for their own product. You created it, but they think it's their own. But then they get involved. The parents get involved. They get involved. The kids get excited. Then they start running with it. Then they go back to school. Oh, hey, Johnny, I'm doing this at that back. Then the kids are just doing this, right? So that's obviously a great way of doing it. And then number 4, have fun. Just enjoy it.
Basically, do the first 3 and you'll be fine. But do the first 3, you'll be onto a winner.
Yeah, I was cruel to give you 4 there today. You only need 3 really.
Yeah.
Look, I think anyone who's watching this, and I think Ian certainly agree with me when I say this, is that when you've got someone like yourself, is that the enthusiasm is infectious, and we as adults can follow you and go, we want to do what he wants to do, kind of thing. So it should be easy for kids, because kids love that. If they got a pro who or junior organizer or junior secretary or whatever it happens to be, who can get the kids in and then smile at them. One of the points which I got down on my list to 11 is staff and getting the right staff and getting them to talk to the kids in the right way. And I know that they'll get that with you, and I know that they'll get that at Blackwell Grange, and I think that all forms part of it, kind of thing. So
it's I think for me, from giving the kids for me, the big word for me is pathway. And I think creating, and that's obviously in the product, but it's creating a pathway, letting the parents know that there is a legitimate pathway for the kids to stick around at your golf club for 10 years of junior golf. There's a pathway that they can get better and better, and they can go up and they can move up and they can do this. And going back to when I built that kids course, I thought, you know what? I wonder if I could then play some tournaments on there. Now, all of a sudden, I'm now playing 8 tournament series. I've got a business that sponsors the academy course. It gives me money per year for the kids, so I can then buy shirts, hats, jumpers, winter gear, beanies. He sponsors the Golf Sixers League the team that I put in. So he puts his logo all over their shirt. So then I've got an income stream from a sponsor paying for the academy course. So then I go, well, you know what? I'm going to build this tournament series and go get some absolute cracking trophies. I play for a green jacket. I play for a claret jug. I play a playoffs, the finale Blackwell playoffs. We're playing on Saturday this week. We're playing the Players Championship. Now, what's on the Players Championship?
Exactly
TPC Sawgrass. So the kids will play for their own Players Tournament while they're watching the Players Tournament when they go home at night and watch TV. And in April, I've actually got a legitimate green jacket, a small one, which they get their names. The winners put their names each year down the side of the jacket. They take it home. They got a little trophy. I play for a claret jug in July. I have a tour championship. I have the BM. My sponsor is Darlington BM. They're a mechanics. They look after BMWs and Minis. So what do I play in September? The BMW Championship, like they do at Wentworth. So I play that the same weekend they're at Wentworth. So then they can go home and watch that in the afternoon. So it's giving them something like that. And then every year, the top 24 on that order of merit qualify for the following year's Ryder Cup. So then I pick 2 captains. They go pick 12 players each, and they have a European and a US team. So then I have a yearly Ryder Cup. But then it's the focus of trying to make the top 24 because they want to qualify for the Ryder Cup the following year. So then I play the Ryder Cup middle of the year, let the 2 captains pick their teams. I just have a foursomes in the morning, a 4-ball in the round 2, and then it's 12 singles in the afternoon. So they're there all day. I've got them their attention for all day. The club, they're in there eating food for lunchtime. We have a lunch break, so they're in the clubhouse, buying food, buying drinks. We have a Ryder Cup trophy, and then we have I put it all over social media. I do live videos, I do live streams while they're playing. It's getting them excited about them playing golf, not just, and unfortunately, this is the advantage that I've got to, as you said before, what other golf clubs and golf pros will find hard. I've got a pathway for the kids to play golf at age 5, whereas golf clubs may not have that. They've got ranges or they've got practice facilities to allow the kids to develop, but then they can't get on the golf course because members don't like sites. Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to get that membership to allow you to be happy, allow them to be happy without worrying about them on an afternoon when you got 5 and 6 year old kids out on the golf course playing 70-yard holes. So that's I totally understand and respect that kind of difficulty that most golf clubs have got. But if something is impossible, it's always possible. You can't have a well, I can't do it. There's no can't. There's always can, will try. Like, you can't just stop. There's no brick wall in front of me. I don't let myself see a brick wall because there's always possibilities. Right
now, Ian, I need to ring up England Golf, by the way, for when they do this award ceremony. If they have, when they do the speeches afterwards, they need to leave an extra hour. I'd never thought I'd meet someone who can talk more than you can, Ian. So congratulations, Aaron, for managing to keep Ian off the mic for this time. No, like I say, I mean, joking apart, it's infectious what you're doing there, and people who are watching this hopefully realise that it all comes from the heart. No, that's not fair. It comes from the heart and the head as well, because everything you're saying there makes sense. And you would hope that people will see the passion and everything, but also they realise that all the things you're saying there are so much common sense and things which there might well be things which don't quite work within their club, but there are certain things whereby they can adapt it to make it work at their club. They may not have like a fairway you have, but they might have a driving range which has a little bit by the side whereby they can just use a 30-yard area or whatever, or they might have a practice bunker and things like that. So there are ways whereby clubs can work themselves around this and get something in their golf club which can help. Look, really appreciate your time this evening. I think Ian, we're gonna have to get him back on to do a different subject.
I think we probably will. Yeah,
absolutely, anytime.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Just to mention as well, then, for the next podcast, which we've got coming up in a couple of weeks' time, March the 23rd, we're going to be covering junior golf in Ireland. Have you ever been to Ireland, Aaron?
I have, mate. I went to play Royal Portrush back in 2020.
Absolutely. Fantastic golf course, that is. Yes, absolutely. Now, we've got Irish Junior Open Tour organiser Michael Gallagher on, Irish golf journalist Emma Self, and also New Forest Golf Club professional Stephen Barrett. He's hosting one of the Irish Junior Open Tour events over there. So it's going to be fascinating to talk that. We're going to be talking some other big subjects as well. Hopefully, we're going to be doing one on Scotland when we're up there covering the Faldo Series. We're going to be doing some stuff up there, aren't we, Ian?
We most certainly are, yeah.
The home of golf. So, and then we're going to be doing a few other subjects. We're going to do one on county golf. I'm going to be talking to Fliss Johnson at Ladies European Tour Pro. We're going to get her on as well. So, so lots of different subjects. Fantastic, Aaron. Really appreciate it. Best of luck for all you're doing, and
thank you.
And hope it's successful. And it carries on like that.
It's funny you just mentioned county because I teach the county girls. Durham, one of the girls' team here as well. So. Do that as well.
We'll get him on that one as well, then, shall we?
He's got to come back.
Well, Steve, you will have to. You have to get me back because I've told Ian this many times, but I actually created an elite development program as well, which is pretty much it's the development plan to take kids into county and then beyond.
Well, that's one subject we are going to cover at some stage. We're going to cover the elite golf because obviously we've looked at how to try and get more juniors into golf, but also getting them from that level to then become top players as well is not easy, as we well know.
No. And I've got that in place already. I've got a physio and a fitness personal fitness trainer who trains my elite class as well. So I got a physio and fitness that they do to get them ready for county. So I do that currently with my elite kids. So. If you ever, if you want to, I'm more than happy to do some more elite stuff because that's exactly what I've been doing the last 12 months.
It's a good job we only do this every fortnight, isn't it? Otherwise, we'll have.
I think we're still on. I think it is 2 weeks later now. Actually, I think it's. I think about the 20th of March now, isn't it? Hey, only joking, Aaron. I'm only teasing, mate.
Start talking on junior golf, mate. You're not going to shut me up.
Aaron, I could keep going with this. I could. To be fair,
the important thing is
the
important thing is we're not talking about the cricket, right?
Please don't.
We are going to have to say goodbye. Really appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks so much again, Ian, and we'll see you all in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks everybody. Thank you.